Hello everyone, my name is ENG209, a presenter who is going to present to you how to use visual aid to help make a presentation. Here is the table content for the whole presentation. I'm gonna read the introduction preparation session during the presentation, after finish the presentation, as well as the conclusion and reference source. Let's start with the introduction part. Why a presenter needs visual support? And what is visual aid? A presentation is a means of communication that can be adapted to various speaking situations, such as talking to a group, addressing a meeting, or briefing a team. During the presentation, the presenter only wants to talk with the audience, but they want the audience to imagine them, to attract the audience and makes them more understand what you are talking about. And the presenter usually needs visual support called visual aids. So visual aids are items of a visual manner, such as graphs, photographs, video clips, or handles, or slides, and others, used in addition to spoken information. If visual aids are useful, they will enhance a presentation by adding impact and strengthening the audience involvement. They can also be helpful to remind you of what you want to say. It is an important part of presentations. They can help you to keep your audience engaged, make your point for you. There's a reason why people say that a picture tells 1,000 words and remind you what you want to say. Most visual aids will need advanced preparations. You will need to know how to operate the equipment effectively and help make a good presentation as following. So how to prepare for a visual aid? Once you have decided that you want to use a visual aid, you must ensure that the audience is able to quickly understand the image. It must be clear. They can be used throughout your speech, but try to only use visual aid for essential points. It can be tiring for the audience to skip from one visual to another. The speech of the presenter can refer to many different things. The meaning of visual aids is very important to deliver your message. First of all is preparation. The presenter has to think about how can a visual aid can support your message. What do you want the audience to do? These are the critical questions that you have to ask yourself when you start to prepare the visual aid. The visual aid has to match with the meaning of the main points that are going to raise up for the presentation. Ensure that your visual aid follows what you are saying, or this will confuse the audience. After that, the presenter will choose the right type of visual aid, such as slide, image, or others to support the presentation. It must be clear, concise, and of high quality. Avoid cluttering. The image of it may look messy and unclear. If they have data to explain, use graph and chart to present data. The visual aids should keep the style consistent, such as the same font, color, positions, and others, because the audience will not pay full attention to many different styles of visual aids. One message per visual aid. For example, on the slide there should only be one keyword or key points. Next, practice using the visual aids in advance and ask friends and colleagues for feedback. Your visual aid must be appropriately sized and legible. Choose your visual aid tactically so you appeal to your audience. This means finding image your audience can relate it to, image they will find familiar, and image they will like. Also think about what style of visual ad is suitable for the audience. Is it quite a serious presentation? Can you be humorous? Is it more formal or informal? This is based on your presentation objectives. Visual ads can powerfully help the effectiveness of a speech. Many speech benefits from having objects, image, keywords, or data presented in a clear and dramatic fashion. Visual ads vary in kind, but there are similar benefits and tips for dealing with any kind of supplementary evidence that is sound to an audience during the presentation. There are some tips for using visual ads during presentation. Stand to the slide of the visual ad. Don't obscure the visual ad if at all possible. Traditionally, speakers have the visual ad on their left. Allow the audience enough time to look at the slide and absorb information. Don't leave the audience looking at a slide that does not relate to what you are saying. A handy tip when using PowerPoint is to select the letter B on your keyboard to blank out the screen. When you are giving a speech, you ideally want the audience to pay complete attention to your voice and message. A visual ad is an invitation for them to pay attention to something else, if even for a moment. Therefore, this visual ad must reinforce your message. The audience should not be trying to read and listen at the same time. It helps you to highlight your point. Don't talk back to the screen. Keep facing your audience so that you maintain your eye contact and your voice does not fade away. Having notes or prompt cards that you can glance at easily when you need to. Combine with the content of your visuals by pointing now and again to specific points or parts of a diagram and as well as others. Avoiding standing in front of the screen or pointing in a way that creates distracting shadows. Limit lace if the visual ad utilize lace to communicate the central idea of the speech. Do not overwhelm the audience with endless lace on one slide or page. Generally, only 5 items should be on any single slide or page of visual ad. Avoid distributing material before the speech. If there are supporting material to assist the audience, they should be passed out either before or after the speech. Failing to do so will delay the speech, lead too much unnecessary rustling of paper, and is an unnecessary distraction. Remember that simplicity is a good design principle. Don't overload a visual ad with unnecessary information, color, font change, or superfluous image. Last but not least, the advantage of using visual ad does not just help during the presentation. It will help you after the presentation as well. Mostly when you finish your presentation, you will face a Q&A session. The visual ad can use as software or handouts for improving audience understanding and good memory to do later reflection. If the audience can't catch up on the main point that has mentioned earlier, they will ask you to check on the visual ad with the previous contents. At this time, it works as an assistant for you on the stage in order to have a good response. Have you ever asked for driving direction and not understood someone's response? Did the person say that turn right at the Phnom Penh Superstore, the new one, or I think you will turn at the second right, but it might be the third one? chance are that unless you know the location well or have a map handy, the visual cue a grocery store or traffic light might be insufficient to let you know where to turn. Your audience experience the same frustration or sense of the accomplishment when they get lost or find their way during your speech. Consider how you can express yourself visually, providing command, reference, illustration, and image that leads the audience to understand your point or issues. That is a good performance after your presentation. The visual aids can keep you calm and powerful to continue to answer the question from the audience. Visual aids can also provide the necessary support for your position. You might consider solving similar study in graphic form, illustrating similarities across a large research. In short, visual aids are worth including in your presentations because they can help you explain information more coherently, which makes presenting easier for you and learning easier for the audience. It also helps add variety to your presentation, thus making it more interesting for the audience. If the audience understands what you are going to say and they are more engaged, they are more likely to be persuaded by you. That's all of my presentation. Here are the reference sources for more details. Any question? Feel free to raise them. Thanks.